The dying alien wolf accepted its fate, then a human refused to let it die. The landing pad vibrated as the Valkyrie transport touched down. It was not a human ship, but something older, built from salvaged metal and natural materials. Smoke rose from its engines. Through the viewport, Theros could see figures moving inside. Doyen stood beside him, his small frame looking almost ridiculous next to Theros's bulk. But there was no fear in the human's eyes, only determination. Mireille and 6 security personnel flanked them, armed with stun weapons. Hyunwoo stood at the front, his face calm and diplomatic. "Let me do the talking," Hyunwoo said quietly. At least at first, the transport's ramp lowered with a hiss. 4 Valkyrie descended. They moved with the fluid grace of natural predators. Each one was as large as Theros, their fur marked with scars from countless hunts. They wore minimal clothing, just leather straps holding tools and weapons. At the front walked Vera. Theros had known she would come. She was pack leader, and this was pack business. Her white-streaked fur seemed to glow in the purple light of the setting sun. Her amber eyes swept across the gathered humans, dismissing them, until they landed on Theros. Something flickered in those eyes. Surprise, maybe, or disappointment. "Theros," she said in the common tongue, her accent thick but understandable. "You live." "I live," Theros confirmed. Beside Vera stood Kesh, her second in command. He was younger, more aggressive, his lips already curled back to show teeth. "This is an abomination," Kesh growled. "The prey has interfered with natural law." "We prefer to be called humans," Hyunwoo said calmly. "And we prefer to think of it as offering medical assistance to someone in need." Vera's gaze shifted to Hyunwoo. She studied him for a long moment. "You are the leader here?" "I am Director Hyunwoo. This is Research Outpost Gamma. You are welcome as guests, but I must ask your intentions regarding Theros." "Our intentions?" Vera's ears tilted forward. "He is pack business, not human business." "He became our business when we found him dying in a canyon," Doyen said, stepping forward despite Hyunwoo's warning look. "He was hours from death." "We couldn't just leave him." "Why not?" Kesh demanded. "Death is natural. Death is honorable. You have stolen his honor by intervening." "Honor?" Doyen's voice rose. "There's no honor in dying alone and afraid in a ditch. Honor is in living, in learning, in growing. What kind of culture throws away life like it means nothing?" "Doyen," Hyunwoo warned, but Theros felt something stir in his chest. The human was defending him, defending his right to exist. No one in his pack had ever done that. Vera raised a paw, silencing Kesh before he could respond. "You speak of things you do not understand, human. The Valkyrie way is ancient, older than your species' time among the stars. We survive because we are strong. The weak do not deserve survival." "That's the stupidest philosophy I've ever heard," Doyen said flatly. The security personnel tensed. Mireille put a hand on her weapon, but Doyen continued, his voice steady and clear. "You want to talk about strength? Let me tell you about strength. My species was nearly wiped out 3 times in our history. Disease, war, climate collapse. Each time we survived, because we helped each other. The weak supported the strong. The strong protected the weak. We built hospitals for the sick, schools for the young, homes for the old. That's strength. Real strength. Not this barbaric idea that only the perfect deserve to live, yet you call us barbaric." Kesh snarled, taking a step forward. "I call your philosophy barbaric. There's a difference." Vera held up her paw again. Kesh stopped, though his entire body vibrated with suppressed rage. The pack leader's eyes had not left Doyen. "You are brave," she said slowly. "Foolish, but brave. Tell me, human, if we demanded Theros return with us now, what would you do?" "I would refuse, even knowing we could tear you apart." "Even knowing that? Why? He is not your pack, not your people." Doyen glanced at Theros. Their eyes met. "Because he's my friend, and I don't abandon my friends." The word hung in the air. Friend? Theros felt something crack inside him, some wall he had built around his heart his entire life. The humans had dozens of words for relationships. The Valkyrie had only pack and prey. But friend? That was something different. Something he had never had. Before anyone could speak, Theros stepped forward. His legs still ached, but he stood tall. "Pack leader," he said formally. "I request to speak." Vera's ears flicked. "You have that right, speak." Theros took a breath. "I was dying. Not from battle, not from age, but from injuries sustained in fair combat. By our laws, I should have accepted death. But this human found me. This human Doyen refused to let me die. He risked his safety, his position, his standing among his own people to save me. A stranger. Someone who could have killed him. That is the problem, Kesh interrupted. You accepted help from prey. You violated sacred law. I know the law, Theros said quietly. I have lived by it my entire life. But these humans have shown me something I never knew existed. They showed me that there is strength in compassion, power in helping others, honor in choosing life over death. Vera was silent. Her tail twitched, a sign of deep thought. Theros continued. I do not ask the pack to accept me back. I know I have shamed you. I know I have broken our ways. But I ask for one thing. Give me one lunar cycle. Let me stay here, learn from these humans, understand what they tried to teach me. Then I will face whatever judgment you decree. This is unacceptable, Kesh said. He must return now or be declared exile. No. Vera's voice cut through the air like a blade. Everyone fell silent. She walked forward slowly until she stood directly in front of Theros. She was slightly smaller than him, but her presence was massive. Theros, you were always a good scout, a good warrior. You served the pack with honor for many cycles. Yes, pack leader. And now you ask for mercy. I ask for time. Vera studied his face. Then slowly she turned to look at Doyen. The human met her gaze without flinching. Something passed between them. Some understanding that transcended species. You truly would fight us? Vera asked. For him? I would, Doyen said. Why? Because someone has to care. If we only look out for ourselves, if we only value strength and dismiss everything else, then what are we? We're just animals killing each other in the dark. But if we can help each other, if we can show compassion even to those who are different, then maybe we're something more. Maybe we're worth the air we breathe. Vera was quiet for a long time. The moons were rising now, casting long shadows across the landing pad. Finally she spoke. One lunar cycle, she said. Theros will remain here. He will learn what the humans have to teach. At the end of that time, I will return. He will face judgment, but... She paused, choosing her words carefully. But perhaps there is wisdom in understanding those who are different from us. Perhaps the Velkari have become too rigid in our ways. Kesh made a sound of protest. Vera silenced him with a look. You will not be welcomed back to the pack, Vera told Theros, even if you survive. You understand this? I understand, Theros said. Then it is decided. Vera turned to her hunting party. We leave. As the Velkari began boarding their transport, Vera paused at the ramp. She looked back at Doyen one more time. You are a strange creature, human. Your people are strange. But perhaps, she tilted her head, perhaps prey species have something to teach us after all. Then she was gone. The transport lifted off, its engines roaring. Theros watched it disappear into the purple sky. His pack was leaving without him. For the first time in his life, he was truly alone. Except he was not alone. Doyen's hand touched his arm gently. Are you okay? The human asked. Theros looked down at him. This small, soft creature who had faced down a Velkari hunting party without weapons, who had argued with a pack leader, who had called Theros friend. I do not know, Theros admitted. I do not know what I am anymore. That's okay, Doyen said. We'll figure it out together. Miri approached, her expression softer than Theros had seen before. That was incredibly brave, she said to Doyen. Also incredibly stupid. Those two things usually go together, Doyen replied with a small smile. Yunwu let out a long breath. Well, that could have gone worse. Theros, you're officially under our protection for the next month. Make the most of it. I will, Theros promised. As they walked back into the outpost, Theros felt the weight of what had just happened settle on his shoulders. He had one lunar cycle, 30 days to learn what it meant to be something other than a Velkari warrior. 30 days to understand these humans who saw value in things beyond strength. 30 days to discover if there was a path forward that did not end in death or exile. He looked at Doyen walking beside him, chattering about something cheerful and ordinary, and despite everything, despite the uncertainty and fear, Theros felt something he had never felt before. Hope. The dying alien wolf accepted its fate. Then a human refused to let it die. Theros woke to white walls and strange smells. His body felt heavy, distant, as if it belonged to someone else. Pain was there but muted, Pushed back by something he could not identify, he tried to move and found soft restraints holding his limbs. Not tight enough to hurt, but enough to keep him in place. Panic seized him. He was trapped, captured. His eyes snapped open fully and he saw the room around him. Metal and glass. Lights too bright. Machines making steady beeping sounds. This was a human place. The human had taken him to a human place. Easy, easy. The voice was soft. Theros turned his head and saw the human from the canyon. The one who had refused to let him die. The small creature sat in a chair beside the table where Theros lay. It held up its hands showing empty palms. "You're safe. I promise you're safe," Theros growled low in his throat. The sound made the machines beep faster. "My name is Doyen," the human said. It pointed to itself. Doyen. Then it gestured to Theros. "You are?" Theros understood. The human wanted his name. He should refuse. He should say nothing, but the words came anyway, forced out by habit and instinct. "Theros," Doyen smiled. The expression was strange on its flat face. "Theros, good, that's good. How do you feel?" "Release me." Theros's voice was rough. Speaking the human language hurt his throat. But his pack had learned some of the common tongue for trading. He knew enough words. "I can't do that yet. You're still healing. The restraints are for your safety and ours. I did not ask for this. I did not ask for your help." "I know." Doyen leaned forward in his chair. "But you were dying, Theros. I couldn't just leave you there. You should have. Death with honor is our way. You have shamed me." Something flickered across Doyen's face. Sadness, maybe, or regret. "I don't believe that. I don't believe death is better than life, no matter what your culture says. You know nothing of my culture. Then teach me." The request caught Theros off guard. He had expected arguing or demands or attempts to force compliance. Not this quiet request to understand. He turned his face away from the human. "There is nothing to teach. The strong survive. The weak die. I was weak. I should have died. But you're not weak. You survived injuries that would kill most creatures. You survived surgery. You're here alive because you're incredibly strong. Strength is not accepting help from prey." Now Doyen's expression changed. There was steel in his eyes when he spoke. "We're not prey. And this attitude, this idea that accepting help makes you weak, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard." Theros's ears flattened. No one spoke to a Valkyrie warrior this way. He bared his teeth, straining against the restraints. "You dare." "Yes, I dare. Because I saved your life, and that gives me the right to tell you the truth. Being stubborn enough to die alone isn't strength. It's pride. And pride is just fear wearing a mask. You understand nothing. Maybe. But I understand that you're alive because I helped you. And I'm not sorry about that, even if you are." They stared at each other. The machines continued their steady beeping. Finally, Theros looked away. He felt something unfamiliar in his chest. Confusion, uncertainty. Things a Valkyrie warrior should never feel. The door opened, and another human entered. This one was female, younger than Doyen, with bright eyes and nervous energy. She carried a datapad and approached carefully. "This is Jiwan," Doyen said. "She's been researching your people." Jiwan gave a small bow. "Hello, Theros. I hope you're feeling better." Theros said nothing. Jiwan looked at Doyen, who nodded encouragingly. She held up the datapad. "I found something interesting. Old Valkyrie texts, from before your people spread to other worlds. They tell stories about your ancestors. Did you know that they used to value wisdom alongside strength? They had teachers, philosophers, healers." "Lies," Theros said automatically, but doubt crept into his mind. "Not lies. History. Your culture changed over time, became focused only on physical power. But it wasn't always that way. Your people used to believe in different kinds of strength. Why are you telling me this?" "Because," Jiwan said gently, "maybe accepting help isn't shameful. Maybe it's actually returning to what your people once were." Theros closed his eyes. His head hurt. Not from pain, but from thoughts that crashed against everything he had ever known. The humans were trying to confuse him, or maybe they were telling the truth. He did not know anymore. Over the next few days, Theros remained in the medical bay. The restraints came off once Doyen was certain he would not attack anyone. Theros could stand now, though walking was difficult. His wounds were healing faster than he expected. Human medicine was powerful. Different humans visited him. Mirai, who had flown the shuttle, brought him food. She explained what each dish was, watching as he tried them cautiously. Some were good. Others tasted like chemicals. But he ate because his body needed fuel. Hyun-woo, the outpost director, came to speak with him formally. The human was stiff and official, explaining rules and boundaries. Theros was a guest, not a prisoner. But he could not leave yet, not until he was fully healed. Theros agreed, though the word guest sat strangely in his mind. But it was Doyen who spent the most time with him. The human would sit in the chair and talk, sometimes about his work studying the planet and its life, sometimes about human history. Sometimes he would ask questions about Velkari culture, and despite himself, Theros would answer. "Why did you save me?" Theros asked one evening. The question had haunted him. "What do you gain?" Doyen thought for a moment. "I had a brother, younger than me. He got sick on a colony world when he was 15. The doctors could have saved him, but they said they didn't have enough resources. They had to prioritize. My brother wasn't a priority." Theros heard the pain in Doyen's voice. He died over 3 days. Every day he asked me why no one would help him. I didn't have an answer. I was only 17. I couldn't force the doctors to care. After he died, I promised myself something. If I ever had the ability to save someone, anyone, I would do it, no matter what. That is why you became a healer. That's why I became a xenobiologist. To understand life in all its forms, to protect it. Theros was quiet. Then he said, "Your brother was lucky to have you. Not lucky enough." They sat in silence. Theros thought about his own pack, his own siblings. When one of them died, the pack moved on. That was the way. But looking at Doyen's face, Theros wondered if maybe there was value in remembering, in caring. "I cannot go back," Theros said suddenly. "To my pack. You understand this? By accepting your help. By living when I should have died, I have broken our most sacred law. I am shamed. They will never accept me." "Then stay here," Doyen said simply. "Here? With humans? Why not? We have space. You could teach us about your people. We could learn from each other. I am a warrior. I know nothing but hunting and fighting. Then teach us that, or learn something new. You're not dead, Theros. That means you have choices. What do you want to do with your life?" No one had ever asked Theros what he wanted. In the pack, you had a role. You fulfilled that role. There were no choices, only duty. The question opened something in his mind, a door he had not known existed. Before he could answer, an alarm sounded throughout the outpost. Doyen jumped to his feet. Jiwon burst into the medical bay moments later, her face pale. Long-range sensors picked up a signal, she said quickly. "Velkari signatures. A hunting party is heading this way." Theros' blood went cold. "They tracked me." "My scent, can we hide him?" Doyen asked. "Not from Velkari hunters," Theros said. "They will smell me through walls. Through metal. They are coming for me." Hyun-woo entered the bay, his expression grim. "They're requesting permission to land. They say they're looking for a member of their pack. If we refuse, they'll consider it an act of hostility." Everyone looked at Theros. He stood slowly, his body still aching but stronger than before. "I will face them. It is my burden." "No," Doyen said firmly. "We'll face them together. You're under our protection now. You cannot fight a Velkari hunting party. Watch me." Despite everything, despite the fear and uncertainty and pain, Theros felt something warm in his chest. The human, this small, soft creature, was willing to stand between him and his own kind. It was foolish. It was brave. It was the most human thing Theros had yet seen. "Thank you," Theros said quietly, "but they must be allowed to land. To refuse would dishonor both our peoples." Hyun-woo nodded. "Then we meet them on the landing pad, together. But Theros, I need to know. Will they try to kill you?" Theros thought of Vera, his pack leader. Thought of the laws he had broken. "I do not know, perhaps not. But I will face whatever comes." As they prepared to meet the hunting party, Theros realized something. He was no longer simply accepting his fate. He was choosing his path. The humans had given him that gift, whether they knew it or not. They had shown him that life was not just about following rules and dying with honor. It was about making choices and living with them. The hunting party was landing. Soon he would face his pack. Whatever happened next, Theros knew he was not the same Velkari who had lain dying in that canyon. The humans had changed him, and he was not entirely sure that was a bad thing. The dying alien wolf accepted its fate. Then a human refused to let it die. The shuttle shook as it lifted off from the canyon floor. Mireille gripped the controls tightly, her knuckles white. She kept glancing back at the cargo hold where Doyun knelt beside the massive alien creature. This was insane. Completely insane. His vital signs are dropping, Doyun called out. He had connected the Valkyrie to the shuttle's medical scanner. The readings were not good. Heart rate erratic. Blood pressure critical. Internal bleeding. We need to go faster. I'm already pushing the engines to maximum, Mirai shot back. Doyun, what were you thinking? That thing could wake up and kill us both. He's not a thing. His name is Theros. How do you even know that? I don't, but he deserves a name. Mirai shook her head but said nothing more. She had known Doyun for 3 years. Once he decided to help someone, there was no stopping him. It did not matter if that someone was human or alien or apparently a 7-foot wolf creature that could bite his head off. Doyun worked frantically in the back. The medical supplies he had were meant for humans, not for whatever biology this creature had. But blood was blood and wounds were wounds. He sprayed medical gel into the deepest cuts, watching as it hardened into a seal. Then came the nanosutures, tiny machines that would stitch tissue together from the inside. Theros' chest rose and fell in shallow breaths. His eyes moved beneath closed lids, dreaming maybe, or dying. Doyun pushed the thought away and kept working. Doyun, Mirai's voice was tight. The scanner shows massive internal damage. Even if we get him back, even if we can treat him, there's a good chance he won't make it. Then we make sure he makes it. Why? Why does this matter so much to you? Doyun's hands paused over a wound. For a moment he was not in the shuttle, but in a hospital room on a colony world 5 years ago. His younger brother lay in a bed, dying from an infection that could have been treated. Could have been cured. But the hospital said they did not have enough resources. They had to prioritize. A 15-year-old boy from a poor family was not a priority. Doyun had watched his brother die over 3 days. Watched him ask why no one would help. Watched the light fade from his eyes. Because someone has to care, Doyun said quietly. If we don't help when we can, what's the point of any of this? The technology, the medicine, the ships that take us to the stars? What's it all for if we just let people die? Mirai was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, 5 minutes to the outpost. I'm radioing ahead for the medical bay. The shuttle touched down on the landing pad with a soft thud. Doyun had already activated the grav lift, keeping Theros suspended in the air as they moved him. A medical team waited at the entrance, their faces a mix of curiosity and fear. Get him to Bay 3, Doyun ordered. I need a full surgical kit and someone who knows xenobiology. That would be you, one of the medics pointed. Out. Then get me whatever I need and stay out of my way. They moved through the corridors quickly. Other staff members pressed themselves against the walls as the huge alien body floated past. Whispers followed them. Doyun ignored it all. Bay 3 was designed for emergency surgery. It would have to do. Once Theros was on the medical table, Doyun finally took a breath. The creature looked even bigger under the bright lights. His fur was beautiful despite the blood and dirt. Silver blue with hints of darker markings. His face was peaceful now, unconscious. Almost gentle. All right, Doyun said to the room. Let's save his life. The surgery took 4 hours. Doyun's hands moved on instinct and training and sheer determination. The Valkyrie biology was similar enough to Earth mammals that he could work with it. 4-chambered heart. 2 lungs. Liver, kidneys, digestive system. All damaged. All fixable if he was fast enough and careful enough and lucky enough. Mirai assisted, handing him tools before he asked for them. She had seen him in surgery before and knew how he worked. The other medics watched from a distance, ready to help if needed. There's something beautiful about this, Mirai said softly. His body, I mean. The way it's put together. Evolution made something amazing here. Every species is amazing, Doyun replied as he sealed a damaged blood vessel. That's what people forget. We're all just trying to survive. His people might not see it that way. You saw how he reacted when you tried to help. He didn't want this. He was dying. Pain makes us think things we don't mean. What if it's their culture, though? What if refusing help is their way? Doyun paused. His hands hovered over Theros' open wound. Then we'll explain it to him when he wakes up. We'll make him understand. But I won't let him die without trying. The heart monitor beeped steadily. Theros' vital signs were stabilizing. Slowly, carefully, but definitely improving. Doyun allowed himself a small smile. They were going to make it. Another hour passed. Doyun closed the last wound and stepped back. His arms ached. His eyes burned with fatigue. But Theros was breathing steadily now. The monitors showed good numbers. Not perfect, but good. He'll live, Doyen announced. The medics cheered softly. Mirai squeezed his shoulder. You did it. We did it. They cleaned up and covered Theros with a thermal blanket. The Velkari would sleep for hours while his body began to heal. Doyen set up monitors to track everything. Any change, any problem, and alarms would sound. As Doyen washed the blood from his hands, Mirai joined him at the sink. The director wants to see you. He's not happy. I know. This could cost you your position here. I know that too. Was it worth it? Doyen looked through the window at Theros lying on the table. The creature's chest rose and fell peacefully. Alive. Against all odds alive. Yes, Doyen said. It was worth it. Director Hyunwoo was waiting in his office. He was a tall man with gray hair and a stern expression. When Doyen entered, that expression grew even more stern. Sit down, Hyunwoo said. Doyen sat. Do you have any idea how many protocols you violated today? Several, I imagine. Try 24. You approached an unclassified alien species without authorization. You brought it to this facility without quarantine procedures. You performed surgery using our medical supplies. You put yourself and this entire outpost at risk. I saved a life, Doyen said simply. You saved a predator that could wake up and kill half my staff. He's not just a predator. He's intelligent. I saw it in his eyes. He's a person, Director, not an animal. Hyunwoo leaned back in his chair. He looked tired. Even if that's true, you should have contacted me first. We have procedures for this kind of situation. The procedures would have taken too long. He would have died. And maybe that was supposed to happen. Doyen felt anger rise in his chest. You don't mean that? No, Hyunwoo admitted. I don't. But Doyen, we can't just go around interfering with every alien species we find. There are reasons for the non-contact protocols. Cultural contamination, biological hazards, political complications. I understand all that. But I also understand that I found someone dying, and I had the ability to help. How could I not? Hyunwoo was silent for a moment. Then he sighed. You're a good man, Doyen. Maybe too good for this work. What do you think happens when your Velkari friend wakes up? Have you considered that? I'll talk to him. Make him understand. And if he doesn't want your understanding, if he's angry that you saved him, then I'll deal with that when it happens. Hyunwoo stood and walked to the window. Outside, the purple sky was darkening. Keep him sedated for now. We'll figure out what to do in the morning. But Doyen, if this goes wrong, it's on you. Understood? Understood. Doyen left the office and returned to the medical bay. Theros still slept peacefully. Doyen pulled up a chair and sat beside the table. He would stay here tonight. Just in case. Just to make sure. As he watched the steady rise and fall of Theros' chest, Doyen wondered what would happen when the Velkari opened his eyes. Would he be grateful? Angry? Confused? There was no way to know, but Doyen did not regret his choice. He would make the same decision again, because that was what it meant to be human. To care when caring was hard. To help when helping was dangerous. To refuse to accept death when life was possible. Outside the window, stars began to appear in the darkening sky. Somewhere out there, Theros' pack was probably wondering what had happened to him. Soon they would have answers. But for tonight, in this small medical bay on a frontier outpost, one life had been saved. And that was enough. The dying alien wolf accepted its fate. Then a human refused to let it die. The purple sky of Raos 7 hung heavy over the canyon where Theros lay dying. Blood soaked into the rocky ground beneath him, dark and thick. Each breath came harder than the last. His silver-blue fur was matted with dirt and his own fluids. The wound in his side was deep, carved by the claws of his rival during the territorial fight. He had lost. That was all that mattered. Theros closed his amber eyes and let the pain wash over him. This was the way of the Velkari. The strong survived. The weak died. He had been weak, and now he would pay the price. There was honor in this, he told himself. To die beneath the open sky. To return to the earth that had made him. His pack would not mourn him. They would simply move on, as they always did. The 3 moons were beginning to rise when he heard footsteps. Small footsteps, not Velkari. Theros forced his eyes open and tried to lift his head. Every movement sent fresh waves of agony through his body. He managed a low growl, a warning. Whatever creature was approaching should stay away. He might be dying, but he could still kill. A figure appeared at the edge of the ravine above him. It was small, barely 5.5 feet tall. 2 legs, 2 arms, no tail, no fur, a human. Theros had seen them before from a distance. His pack called them prey walkers, soft things that built structures instead of dens, that used tools instead of claws. Weak creatures that somehow had spread across the stars. The human looked down at him. It wore strange coverings over its body and carried devices Theros did not understand. For a long moment, they simply stared at each other. Theros growled again, weaker this time. "Go away," the growl said. "Let me die in peace." The human did not go away. Instead, it began climbing down into the ravine. Doyen's heart pounded as he made his way down the rocky slope. This was against every protocol. You did not approach unknown alien species. You did not interfere with natural wildlife. You certainly did not get close to a creature that could tear you apart with one swipe of its massive paws. But Doyen could not turn away. He had seen the intelligence in those amber eyes. This was not just an animal. This was a person. "Easy," Doyen said softly as he approached. "I'm not going to hurt you." The Valkyri's ears flattened against its skull. Up close, it was even more impressive. 7 feet of muscle and fur with a wolf-like face but a more expressive, almost human quality to its features. Its teeth were bared, each one as long as Doyen's finger. But the threat was empty. The creature was dying. Doyen knelt beside it, keeping his movements slow and careful. The wound was bad, very bad. The creature had lost too much blood already. Without treatment, it would be dead within the hour. "I'm going to help you," Doyen said. He did not know if the creature could understand him. He did not care. He activated his emergency beacon with one hand while pulling medical supplies from his field kit with the other. The Valkyrie made a sound, something between a growl and a whine. Its huge head turned toward Doyen, and those amber eyes fixed on him with an intensity that made him pause. The creature was trying to communicate. Doyen wished he had his translation device, but it was back at the outpost. He pressed a medical pad against the worst of the wounds. The creature flinched but did not pull away. Perhaps it was too weak. Or perhaps it understood that Doyen was trying to help. Blood soaked through the first pad immediately. Doyen applied another, then another. His hands worked quickly, efficiently. He had trained for field medicine, though he had never expected to use it on an alien predator. "Stay with me," Doyen murmured. "Just stay with me." Theros watched the human work. This made no sense. Prey did not help predators. The weak did not aid the dying. It went against every law of nature, every rule his pack had taught him. Yet here was this small, soft creature, pressing strange materials against his wounds, making worried sounds in its throat. The human's hands were gentle. That surprised Theros most of all. He had expected fear or disgust or perhaps curiosity. But there was something else in the human's face. Something Theros did not have words for in his own language. The human looked at him as if his life mattered, as if he was worth saving. Pain made it hard to think. But through the fog, one thought kept circling. Why? Why would this creature help him? What did it want in return? The human pulled out another device and spoke into it. Theros caught the urgency in its tone even if he could not understand the words. It was calling for help, for more humans to come. Theros tried to protest, tried to make the human understand that this was wrong. He was meant to die here. Accepting help was the deepest shame a Valkyrie could know. But his body would not obey him anymore. The darkness was creeping in from the edges of his vision. He could feel his strength leaving him like water through sand. The human's face appeared above him. It said something in a soft voice. One of its small hands touched his head, careful to avoid the ears. The touch was warm. Theros closed his eyes. When he heard the sound of engines, he thought he was dreaming. But no, there was a vehicle landing near the ravine. More humans. The first human was calling to them, urgent and fast. Theros felt himself being moved. There was a sensation of floating. His body no longer hurt. Was this death finally coming? No, not death. The humans had put him on some kind of platform. It carried his weight as if he weighed nothing at all. They were taking him. Where he did not know. He wanted to fight, to refuse to die as a Valkyrie should die. But he could not move. Could barely breathe. The human who had found him stayed close. Theros could smell it. A strange scent of clean things and chemicals. The human kept talking in that soft voice. Theros did not understand the words, but he understood the tone. The human was telling him it would be all right. Foolish creature, Theros thought. Nothing would be all right. He was dying, and these humans were delaying the inevitable. When his pack learned of this, if he somehow survived, he would be shamed forever. Better to have died in the canyon. But even as he thought this, something else stirred in his mind. A small traitorous thought. What if the human was right? What if there was another way? The darkness took him before he could finish the thought. His last awareness was of movement and the sound of human voices, and that gentle hand still resting on his head, as if promising him that he was not alone. The dying alien wolf accepted its fate, then a human refused to let it die. The first week passed in a blur. Theros's body healed rapidly with human medicine and proper food. The wounds that should have killed him became scars, pink and new under his silver-blue fur. His strength returned. But it was his mind that changed the most. Doyen took him everywhere. The humans seemed determined to show Theros every aspect of the outpost. They started in the research labs where scientists studied the planet's geology and atmosphere. Theros watched humans work together, sharing information, helping each other solve problems. It was so different from pack hunting, where each Valkyrie worked alone. "Why do you share your discoveries?" Theros asked. "Is it not better to keep knowledge for yourself? To be stronger than others?" Doyen looked at him with surprise. "Knowledge isn't like food, Theros. When I share what I know, I don't lose it. I still have it. But now someone else has it too. And maybe they'll use it to discover something new, something I never could have found alone. That's how humans advance. Together." The concept was foreign to Theros. In Valkyrie culture, skills were guarded. A hunter who learned a better tracking technique did not teach others unless forced. It gave them advantage. But watching the humans, Theros saw the power of their way. They accomplished more together than any individual could alone. In the second week, Doyen introduced Theros to Sora, the botanist. She was a quiet woman with gentle hands and an easy smile. Her greenhouse was a wonder to Theros. Plants from a dozen worlds grew in organized rows. The air smelled green and alive. "This is my work," Sora explained, walking between the rows. "I study how different plants adapt to new environments. Some of these are from Earth, some from colony worlds. I'm trying to understand how they can help terraform harsh planets." Theros touched a leaf carefully with one claw. "You grow food?" "Some of it. But not just food, medicine, materials for building, oxygen production. Plants are essential to human survival. Valkyrie do not grow plants. We hunt. We take what nature provides," Sora smiled. "That works when nature provides enough. But what about when it doesn't? What about when the hunts fail or the prey migrates? Growing food means we're never hungry. It means we control our survival instead of hoping nature is kind." Theros thought about the lean seasons, when his pack had gone days without eating, when the weak died and the strong fought over scraps. "This is wise," he admitted. "It's practical," Sora said. "But yes, also wise. Here, help me water these." She handed him a container. For an hour, Theros helped Sora tend her plants. His large paws were clumsy at first, but she patiently showed him how to be gentle, how to give each plant what it needed. It was peaceful work. Meditative. Theros found himself relaxing in a way he never had before. "You're good at this," Sora said, watching him carefully water a small seedling. "I am a warrior," Theros replied. "I destroy things. I do not nurture them. You can be both. Humans are. We fight when we must, but we prefer to grow things, to build, to create." She paused, then added softly, "What do you prefer, Theros?" The question struck him deeply. No one had ever asked what he preferred. He had always been told what to do, what to be. "I do not know," he said honestly. "Then you have time to figure it out." That evening, Jiwan invited Theros to the recreation room. Several humans were there, relaxing after their work shifts. They were playing music through speakers, something with complex rhythms and emotional melodies. Theros had heard sounds before, but nothing like this. "This is music," Jiwan explained. "Art made from sound. Every human culture creates it." "Why?" Theros asked, his ears swiveling to catch every note. "Because it makes us feel things. Joy, sadness, excitement, peace. Music connects us to our emotions. Valkyrie do not have art. We have hunting calls, warning howls, but nothing like this." "Then you've been missing out." Jiwan pulled up a chair for him. "Sit, listen, just experience it." Theros sat. The music washed over him. It was a piece about loss and hope, Jiwan explained, about someone far from home who longed to return. Theros closed his eyes and let the sounds flow through him, and for the first time in his life he felt something he did not have words for, something beautiful and painful and absolutely worth experiencing. When the music ended, Theros opened his eyes to find them wet. I am leaking, he said, confused and embarrassed. Those are tears, Jiwan said gently. It means the music moved you. That's good, Theros. That's human. Or I guess that's any feeling creature. Valkyrie do not cry. Maybe they should. Emotions aren't weakness. They're what make life worth living. The third week brought new experiences. Mireille taught him about human engineering, showing him how the outpost systems worked, how water was purified, air recycled, energy generated. The complexity amazed him. Humans did not just survive in harsh environments. They thrived, creating comfort and safety through technology. Yunwoo spent time with him too, teaching him about human government and law, how humans organized themselves, resolved disputes, protected the weak. It was also different from pack hierarchy, where the strongest ruled and the weak obeyed or died. But what if the strongest is not the wisest? Theros asked during one discussion. Exactly, Yunwoo said. That's why we don't let might make right. We have laws voted on by many people. We have leaders, but those leaders serve the people. They don't own them. This seems complicated. It is, but it's better than the alternative. Better than living in fear that someone stronger will take everything from you. Theros thought about his pack, about Vera, who ruled because she was the strongest. If she ever grew weak, someone would challenge her. Kill her, maybe. There was no gratitude for past service. No respect for wisdom gained through age, just the eternal test of strength. Perhaps, Theros said slowly, the Valkyrie way is not the only way. Hyunwoo smiled. Now you're learning. But it was Doyun who remained Theros' closest companion. They fell into a routine. Mornings in the medical bay, where Doyun taught Theros about human biology and medicine. Afternoons exploring the outpost or the land around it. Evenings talking, sharing stories, bridging the gap between their species. One night, 3 weeks into Theros' stay, they sat together on the outpost's observation deck. The 3 moons were full, casting silver light across the purple landscape. It reminded Theros of the canyon where he had nearly died. Do you ever regret it? Theros asked. Saving me? Doyun looked at him with surprise. Why would I regret it? I have brought you trouble. Questions from your director. Danger when my pack came. I have disrupted your life. You've also enriched my life. I've learned more about the Valkyrie in 3 weeks than I could have learned in years of distant observation. You've become my friend. Why would I regret that? Because I cannot go back to my pack. Because I am now something neither Valkyrie nor human. Because you have created a problem with no solution. Doyun was quiet for a moment. Then he said, when my brother died, I thought my life was over. The pain was so huge I couldn't imagine surviving it. But I did survive. And eventually I realized something. His death taught me the value of life. It made me the person I am today. Someone who refuses to give up on others. You think my life has value because of what I teach you? No, your life has value because you're you. Because you're intelligent and brave and curious. Because you laugh at Jiwan's jokes even though you don't always understand them. Because you help Sora in the greenhouse even though you're supposed to be a fearsome warrior. Because you're learning to be more than what your culture told you to be. Theros felt that wetness in his eyes again. Tears, Jiwan had called them. I do not know what I am becoming, he admitted. None of us do. That's what makes life interesting. They sat in comfortable silence watching the moons cross the sky. Finally, Theros said, when Vera returns, she will likely order my death. The pack cannot allow me to live after what I have done. It sets bad precedent. We won't let that happen. You cannot fight the entire Valkyrie people, Doyun. Maybe not, but I can fight for you. We all can. You're not alone, Theros. I have never had anyone fight for me before. Well, you do now. The 4th week brought a new challenge. Long-range sensors detected signals suggesting other Valkyrie packs were aware of Theros' situation. Messages came through the communication array. Most were hostile, demanding the humans release the shamed warrior to face justice. But some were different, curious, asking questions about what Theros was learning. Jiwan showed him the messages. There are Valkyrie who are interested in your story, she said. Young ones, mostly. They want to know if there's another way to live. They will be punished for such thoughts, Theros said. Maybe. Or maybe you're starting something bigger than you realize. Change has to start somewhere. As the month drew toward its end, Theros spent more time in the greenhouse with Sora. Working with the plants calmed his mind, gave him time to think, to process everything he had learned. What will you do when Vera returns? Sora asked one afternoon. I do not know. Face her, accept judgment. Hope the humans can prevent her from killing me immediately. That's not much of a plan. No. But I have learned something from you humans. Sometimes hope is all you have. Sora touched his arm gently. You've changed so much, Theros. When you first came here, you were ready to die. Now you're talking about hope. You all changed me.